Yeah. So you must you, for example, know what a DCF is.
Yeah, you got it. It's all about those cash flows.
Yeah. What percent of VCs know what a DCF is?
I don't know. I think they probably know about it, but then
Yeah.
maybe suspend reality sometimes.
Yeah.
Probably depends on the investor too.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
I'm so not a car guy, so I'm like in awe. Like, oh, how does this work? Like, we're just gonna enjoy the ride.
Yeah, we're just gonna
It's so
enjoy.
nice.
We're gonna sit in a car. I mean, you've been in a 911 before.
No.
All right, well,
First time for everything.
yeah, we'll see.
I'm so rarely with a manual.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, how does this work?
Yeah. Who knows how they really work? Oh, that's interesting. So, what is I don't know, where do we start? Not a car guy.
Not a car guy.
But I did see that you have a double E and a comp sci degree from MIT.
That's right. That's right.
And so it makes a lot of sense that you spent your career developing chips, rocketry, really solving the most technical problems of the universe.
That's one way to put it. I always joke that I always enjoyed the E classes. I mean, it was more things like signal processing, much more math heavy, and less like real circuits and things. I have friends who were hardcore electrical engineers who could like actually build a chip and like solder things together.
Yeah.
I like bow down to those people, but that wasn't quite my jam.
Yeah.
What about you? What did you study?
I studied physics.
Physics. I mean,
Yeah.
also working on some of the biggest problems in the universe.
I was kind of aware that as a physicist, I wasn't like super talented. Like I think people are always talking about like athletic talent, right? But I also think there's like brain talent, and there were just people in my physics department who just had more intuition than I did, and I also kind of wanted to make some money.
Fair. I mean, I think I think this is probably true in any field, but what I always liked about computer science and getting to go to a place like MIT is that you're surrounded by the people who have more of that intuition, and you're like, oh man, what can I learn from them? Like they are operating on another level, and I want, I'm gonna learn from that. I'm gonna grow from that.
Yeah. You were like pretty early in YC, is that right?
It's all relative. My first company was the Winter 14 batch.
Yeah.
And then with Newfront, we were the Winter 18 batch.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how much it changed in those 4 years. And then like I have friends who are in YC now, and it's like a whole different experience. I mean, they've like really, really scaled it.
Maybe you could take us through the story of just, from, I think maybe we do one chapter on like Gordon graduates, does his first company, and then I would love to hear like the story of Newfront.
Sure. Well, I guess rewinding to the first company and kind of what it was like coming out of MIT. I mean, I originally thought I was gonna really be a capitalist and go into investment banking.
Yes.
So my internships have been in finance. I was going to go to New York, and I kind of just I literally just woke up and was like, I'm going to lose all of the computer science stuff, all of the programming that I loved. I should go into tech. I shouldn't walk away from that.
Yeah.
And so I made a pretty hard pivot. I talked to some founder friends, a lot of VCs, and I got connected to a company called CardSpring, and started working for them part-time still when I was still in school, and then came out here full-time. And that was my first experience at a startup.
Yeah.
And the experience there was really, I mean, I loved the founders, guys like Eckert and Amit, and it was getting to sit next to them and see what that was like and be like, oh, I want to actually do that.
Yeah.
And that's what led to me starting StackLead, which was the Winter 14 company. And that was a pretty wild, very fast experience. We ended up getting bought by LinkedIn.
What was the product?
We automatically research sales leads.
Okay.
So, it's probably, there's a lot more modern companies now, like you might be more familiar with something like Clearbit or Apollo. But, some Dan at Gmail signs up for a product.
Yeah.
Who is this? Where do they work? Let's push all of that into Salesforce in a structured way.
I feel like in 2014, that was actually like, this was like kind of novel-ish. Like Relate IQ was doing stuff around then. Yeah. It was like, hey, you can do more than just, I don't know. Like it was the first optimization of the sales pipeline.
Yeah, it was definitely, it was earlier days on that problem. And like as, obviously now sales teams are very hyper optimized. People know how to study every part of the funnel and think through demand generation, inbound and outbound. It was earlier on in terms of how sophisticated people were.
And you were bought, did you say 8 months after starting it?
I would have to, it was more than a year since starting the company, but it was very, very quick after YC.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a funny thing. It just sort of fell into our lap. We had a friend from MIT who knew someone in product at LinkedIn who said, hey, like you're kind of working on something similar in the space. You should talk to these guys.
Yeah.
And that was how that happened. One learning there was, it was kind of the first time I butted heads with my co-founder, where I really didn't. I said, of course we're not going to pursue this. Like this doesn't make any sense. We basically just started the company. And he's like, hey, I think we'd still get to keep working together. Our customers would be taken care of. Oh wow, we're getting a little car experience.
Yeah,
here.
exactly. Look at that. Humans should not be allowed to drive.
You need
these
the
things.
front-facing camera too.
Traffic cam.
Yeah. But yeah, it was kind of we kind of butted heads on it, and it was something where Jessica from YC was really helpful. We sat down with her, and she was like, "Hey, what I'm kind of hearing here is like, it sounds like you both still like each other, want to keep working together, and Gordon, it's really up to you. Like, if you want to keep pursuing this and stick together, then you got to just decide if you want to, what the priority is." She was almost like our, like our couples therapist.
Yeah.
That helped us work through that.
What like, was it sort of like a real amount of money for you guys? Like, what were some of the? I imagine that had to be the case for you to kind of even think about it, right?
Yeah, it was. It was a great outcome,
Yeah.
and we're very, very happy with it. I think looking back on it, what made it way more lucrative was that it was all LinkedIn stock, which became Microsoft stock.
Yeah.
And I've generally, I guess, like it's funny looping back on the capitalist thing. I generally never buy individual stocks, but Microsoft is one of two where I've done that, and Microsoft's done great. I'm a big Microsoft bull. So this is not financial advice, but I still think they'll do well.
Yeah. So, how did that set you up? Maybe we could I want to talk about Newfront for most of this episode, because that's like such an amazing story. Like maybe you could take us from like the end of your tenure at LinkedIn to the start of Newfront.
Yeah, so I was at LinkedIn for a few years and was kind of starting to think about what to do next. And I got connected to my co-founder Spike just through a mutual friend. And the connection was simple. He said, "You're the only two people I know interested in insurance," and that's such a weird thing. And so my family background, I grew up around the insurance industry. My dad worked at AIG for many years, and Spike, he was on the early team at Open Door, so he had to buy. he had to buy all of their commercial insurance. Before that, he was at Blackstone and bought some commercial insurance for some of their portfolio companies. Mm-hmm. And so we kind of just bonded over that. It was one of these funny founder dating type experiences that led to starting Newfront.
Was there something, like, you guys clearly had background in insurance, but is there something like intellectually interesting about insurance for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's so many ways that like insurance touches every part of the economy.
Yeah.
And I think about how perfect example, right? We're on this freeway right now. Like everything you see is somehow touched by insurance, right? Like someone had to come and build this road, and they did an engineering study of, well, what's the appropriate grade and what sort of materials do we use because of, how the land is, changing. And there's tons of liability in that, right? Like so many people could screw up in that process. And insurance is the way that you can still function as a society, right? Because otherwise it's very hard for people to come together and build infrastructure or like do anything of, real scale.
There's a joke I've heard that like lending is the second oldest profession. I feel like if you do a history of financial products, insurance is probably like the second oldest one.
Yeah, it's it's been around for hundreds of years. Every major discovery or achievement, you can point to insurance was somehow involved. I mean, that's one of the funny things now that we're part of WTW is the company is about to celebrate its 200th year anniversary.
Yeah.
And so the amount of just institutional knowledge or feeling like, hey, we've been around the block, we've seen some things, is it's pretty wild.
Did you so you're into insurance, Spike is into insurance. There's so many different lines of insurance, types of insurance. Like maybe I'm jumping a gun. Like you meet Spike and then what happens?
We started very, very broad. We had a couple of areas where we already had some interest. Like one big area, I think this is still true in 2026, is that a lot of insurance is focused on physical assets like, roads, buildings, cars, planes, you name it. But so much of the economy is digital now, right? Like we've basically gone through this massive transformation, software eating the world. Mm-hmm. And insurance has not evolved in that way. There is cybersecurity insurance, but it is a relatively small part of the industry that's growing quickly. Mm-hmm. And so that was some of the stuff we were exploring initially. When we were talking to different insurance professionals, though, what was nice is we could kind of bounce these ideas off of my dad. Mm-hmm. And he was the one who said, look, just spend a lot of time with insurance professionals, with brokers and producers, and seeing how they work with clients. Mm-hmm. And it was really seeing that led to the Newfront journey and ultimately building what we did.
Did you was that kind of shadowing scope to commercial lines, or did you look at any personal lines?
We looked into some personal lines, and a lot of brokers will kind of do it all. I mean, that's definitely something that evolved at Newfront over time, where we started on commercial, but then at some point we launched employee benefits because you want to serve your customers in that way as well. Yep. And then you also end up doing personal lines because you'll be working with a founder or an executive at a company, and they'll say, hey, I've got a home in Tahoe, or I'm buying a boat. Can you help me with my insurance there? That sort of thing.
Yeah. So you went like really wide.
You kind of have to do it all. I mean, otherwise you have this strange. You're essentially saying, oh, don't work with me on that. Like, go find someone else, and that someone else can do what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you shadow. What do you learn from the shadowing?
What we saw was, to give you one specific example, we met with a producer named Jerry, and I remember just seeing he would have these really intense conversations with his clients, right? Someone would call him up and say, hey, someone broke into my office, they stole a bunch of laptops, I've got these policies, like, what do I do? And so he would kind of talk them through, okay, we're going to notify the carrier, we're going to, you should do this, you should take photos of this. He hangs up the phone. He's obviously really helpful to that person in that moment. But then the next like several hours is basically admin work. It's, oh, I need to fill out this form. I'm going to literally pull open a filing cabinet and take out a piece of paper and write something down that I hand to my assistant. She's going to type it into the system. They do all of this behind the scenes work it's stuff they don't really like, and it's stuff that computers are actually way better at.
Yeah.
And so that was the kind of light bulb moment of, hey, we should build a platform that actually really helps these people and supercharges what they do.
Oh, look at this.
Wow.
What is that?
That's going to be your next car.
Wow, that's like a bedazzled McLaren. Oh, geez. Yeah, so you found that there is like a bunch of paperwork. And it's also, it seems like, highly idiosyncratic paperwork if you're working with folks who do all lines.
Yep.
Like you could get like claims against 10 different lines in the course of a week.
Yeah, I mean, you have to deal with every line of coverage, and these policies fit together to protect the customer.
From a product perspective, though, that's such a like wide mandate, right? It's like it's like there's a lot of paper. Let's automate the paper, but you have to like start, I guess, with a certain wedge. Like, how do you think about navigating that?
Yeah, I think that's one of the. I mean, it's one of the things that makes this much more intellectually stimulating, and some really hard technical problems are in insurance because there's so much complexity. It's the kind of thing where you any direction you look, as you dig in a layer deeper, it becomes more complex. And yeah, it's a good point on how do you decide what you build first, second, third. I mean, the way we thought about it was the customer journey. So when they first interact with us, how do we give them a really streamlined experience of sending us information, feeling like, okay, I'm onboarded in a very easy way.
Yeah.
Let's start with that problem before we're actually automating any of this more challenging, data modeling type stuff.
Yep. Yep. Like the customer intake in itself is pretty key. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. And how are you, as you're building this, like, walk me through some of the business milestones, like first customer, first $1 million revenue, first real fundraise, like what are the learnings around those, and where's the product at those stages? Which is a really nice way of asking, like, to what degree is it just like duct tape and glue in humans?
Yeah. There's always, I mean, one lesson is it's often good to lean into that and do something in a spreadsheet, in a Google Doc until it breaks, and then figure out, okay, how do I actually build some software here? Initially, we really had nothing. I mean, we raised our seed round quite early on. It was really just on a pitch deck, and we're lucky that both Spike and I had some good investor relationships to people who were willing to talk to us like that.
Yeah.
We definitely heard plenty of no's. I mean, we heard, what was funny is some people would say, hey, you guys have never sold an insurance policy in your life. How are you, like, don't you want to show that you can do that?
That's like such a low bar. Wow. That's like...
Well, yeah, I mean...
I just mean there's so many people who like take an exam and become insurance brokers and sell policies. The idea that like an MIT CSEE wouldn't be able to do that is beyond absurd.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, hey, if you're telling us that, you're probably not the right investors for us.
Yeah.
But that was how we got started. We both had to get licensed as brokers. That let us set up the licensed entity in California. Then you get reciprocal licenses with every other state. So that was really what we did out of the gate. We became insurance brokers.
Oh, and then what?
Okay. Next milestone. Well, for us, it was really
I guess like customer acquisition is like the question, right? Like, because I did this, like I became like, so you're a broker's license now. How do you get some clients?
Yeah. So our growth motion was growing by recruiting producers. So producers
Yes.
are the salespeople.
Yes.
And unlike a lot of companies at the time that were thinking, hey, how do we want to eliminate the broker. We don't need that middleman, that middle person. We thought, no, that client relationship is actually really valuable. That's what the client is paying for. That advice, that consultative element. And we thought, okay, well, we've got to go out and hire producers. And so our first producer was Forrest, and that was a brutal process because we were talking to everyone. We were figuring out how do you bend over backwards to convince them, hey, this is gonna be a big business. We've got a real opportunity here. Especially when our competitors are companies that have been around for over 100 years.
And I want to highlight, like, you're able to do this because I think in commercial lines, producers can bring business with them.
That's right.
Is that fair? Which is not true in all lines.
It's not. I mean, there's all sorts of different laws on that. It depends on the jurisdiction. So in California, there's potentially a better regulatory environment than elsewhere. It sometimes depends on the line of business. If they're with a certain type of carrier, or maybe it has to be placed by that carrier. But that was kind of the motion that we went for. It's also something that it's changed a lot. I mean, this industry has become a lot more competitive even since 2017 when we started the company.
So, and just so like to simply formulate, it's like, hey, you're gonna recruit brokers to Newfront, to your brokerage, and they will bring their business.
When they join, their clients follow them. And it's not, to be very clear, it's not like their clients have to, right? Their clients are saying, no, Forrest, I want to keep working with you at Newfront, so now when I'm going through my renewal, I'm going to keep working with you. You just happen to be working at a different firm than where you were before.
And the pitch you make, what is the pitch you made to these early brokers?
It definitely changed over time. Early on, it was economic. So it was, hey, you can, by joining us, you'll earn more commission dollars. And you'll get equity, and amazing.
You've been up here, yeah?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you ride?
I don't do too much cycling. Oh wow, holy.
Have you been down here?
It's been a long time.
Man.
This is nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Look at that chop. Oh, we got some chop today.
You really do need to get the camera, the front camera.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. This is amazing
nice.
on a bike. On a bike, this is like flying.
Yeah. I remember when I first moved to Mill Valley, I did this big loop out here, but I had just the crappiest, the bike that I used in SF. And it's still my only bike. But I remember the brakes, I was full braking. On here.
Dude.
And it was just like not actually stopping, just going a little bit slower.
Yes. Yeah, not a good place
steep.
for that to be. I mean, it's even like here in this car, there's a way to like engine brake with a manual, and I think I'm doing it now.
Is that bad for the car, or that?
If you do it right, it's not bad for the car, but you kind of spare your brake pads.
Got it.
Like, I'm not revving too high, so it's okay.
Yeah, this is gorgeous.
Yeah.
We're very lucky in California.
This is also making me like a NIMBY because, geez, can you imagine if this was developed?
It'd be, pretty different.
Yeah.
There was a brief moment where we kind of knew smoking was bad, but we didn't know asbestos was bad, so you could buy cigarettes with asbestos filters.
No, get out.
Yeah, the Kent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty different.
Yeah.
I mean, we basically live in a national park.
We kind of live in a national park, and I'd love to keep it. Are you a Star Trek fan at all?
I haven't watched too much of it. No.
So like San Francisco is like Starfleet headquarters, and there were like shots of like futuristic San Francisco, and there's a great tweet I saw which was like the most like fictional part of Star Trek is not the warp drive, the faster than light travel, but that the marin headlands are developed.
Oh, okay, got it. Weren't they? I think they were gonna call it Marincello. Was it Marincello?
There was
They had a whole
there was a
proposal.
planned development.
Yeah.
I've heard of this. Yeah.
Because there's that. If you do any trail running, there's the Marincello Trail, and you can see where they had some cement that was laid at some point.
Yep.
Not a lot there.
Yep. Marincello is the steep one that goes into the headlands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I used to ride that a lot. That's a great one. Okay, so brokers, you are giving them some equity, you are giving them like some efficiencies.
Yeah, and I was going to say that early on we focused more on the economics, and then later it became more of a what can we do for your clients?
Yeah.
And I think that I mean, you learn so much along the way, and it's impossible. You couldn't do it any other way. You'd have a different outcome. But the switching into more of what can we do that's better for your clients was the thing that got everyone on the same page. Because if you can say, hey, the reason why we're going through this different onboarding experience, or like making you do this certain task as part of the renewal.
Yeah.
It's because it's actually giving the client a better experience.
Yeah.
And that's everyone can get excited and on the same page about that.
And on the product side, it's basically like the client has a portal and they can renew online, and it's a lot better than like, here is an email with PDFs, please print it out, sign, write it in, and then take photos.
Yeah, that's right. I view that component, kind of the client portal where they can view their certificates, view their policies, pay their invoices. That is kind of the simple blocking and tackling. I think increasingly that will be table stakes.
Yep.
But it's funny, in commercial insurance that really did not exist when we started.
Yep.
And it was giving clients a differentiated experience. Now with AI, we can do a lot more for clients and give them something where it really feels like, wow, I can't get this anywhere else. This is something where you're really taking work off of my plate, or giving me back time, giving me back cost savings.
Well, maybe we could actually fast forward to like Newfront in the last like 5 years now, because one of the things that's interesting to me about the history is I think you have a merger, which is like 2021, and not in insurance this is not unusual, but software companies merging with insurance companies, or maybe software companies not the correct characterization of your company, but there's like a very large fundraise at $2 billion, and then ultimately the WTW. Like, help me walk, like, maybe tell me about those things.
Yeah, we've had a journey.
Yeah.
Well, rewinding, so COVID happened. We thought, we're never going to be able to grow again. At that point, it was, every one of our hires had been in person. We were just in one office. And so we had this kind of like reset the company type moment. Luckily,
we're never going to be able to grow again.
Well, because remember, our growth motion was hiring.
Yeah.
Right? We would recruit the producer who would bring in your clients.
Right.
And we had only done that. I mean, this is amazing. I also wonder what this is. Maybe, I know there's some like military installations and things around here.
Could it be a granary?
Maybe.
Or like a water vessel?
I don't know.
Okay, so COVID hits, you're never going to grow again.
Because all of our hiring had been in person in one office. And then we learned, you have Zoom, you can...
You can just use Zoom.
Yeah. It actually works.
All your brokers at that point like worked out of your SF office?
Well, brokers tend to be, they're always on the road, right? They want to go meet with clients. Clients don't want to come to our office.
Were you California only at that point?
Almost definitely. Maybe we had a couple people, but yeah.
Wow.
We're pretty focused.
Yeah.
And so it ended up, hey, we were able to move past that and kind of get our groove back. And then in 2021 was when we merged with ABD, which was a large Bay Area insurance brokerage. And that was really our one. But before that, we'd been growing by just hiring brokers one by one, and that was a way to kind of bring on a larger group of like really awesome, experienced insurance professionals all at once. So really kind of a step function change for the business.
And can I ask, and I don't want to pry or anything, but is this like, was that merger kind of in lieu of a fundraise? Was there like, was there some sort of like capital event there?
We raised some money afterwards, which was nice to kind of validate the valuation and have some more dry powder on the balance sheet to go and be more aggressive with growth.
Yeah.
It was funny how it came together. It's it is very popular now. I think a lot of VC firms and private equity firms are like, how do we tech enable an established services business? I think part of what made us successful though is that just the unique situation of you had a team of people, especially the founders there, where like they saw the vision. I mean, they said, hey, it feels like we're kind of on a collision course here of we want the same thing. We're heading in the same direction, and so by coming together, can we accelerate? Get there a little faster.
And what was the leadership structure of the resulting entity? And what was it called?
So one of the things is we kept the name Newfront.
Yep.
Made it very clear that like, hey, we have the same CEO, CTO.
Yeah.
We expanded our board, so the founders of that other firm became board members, and Kurt, who's one of the founders, became our chairman. And so we had ways to kind of pull in kind of the best of both worlds.
Oh, interesting. Mm-hmm. So, and maybe this is like crass. Could I characterize this as sort of like you acquiring them?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, we like to think of it as like a merger of equals.
Yes.
And so.
But what's interesting about this is because you are the CEO, or rather you're the CTO, Spike is the CEO. You put the leaders of the other entity on the board. Mm-hmm. You are still gonna, like, the technologists are still in control, in a sense. Like, because I feel like the other way around, it doesn't really work.
Yeah, I guess I think it's so dependent on the exact people and the DNA and how they approach change. I'm a big believer in so much of it is building a culture where people they have an open mind. They're willing to think, hey, how can we do things differently? Let me ask questions before I jump to conclusions. Saying, oh, it's about someone's controlling someone else. It's like it's never really that simple.
Maybe though, that's fair. But do you think there's such a thing as organizational DNA?
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's culture, right?
And like, if you need like leaders with tech DNA to build this tech enabled brokerage, because like that is the novel thing you're adding to the P&L.
Yeah, I think
like if the leaders have old school insurance DNA, you're gonna get another not tech enabled brokerage.
Right. I think I love that. Yeah, this is a great trailhead too.
Dude, you run a ton.
Yeah.
How many miles a week are you doing?
Well, now I'm doing very, very little since we had our newborn in January.
Hey, congrats.
Thank you.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, one of the big changes, I've gone from running 50 miles a week to running 0 miles a week. But that's okay. Cool. Yeah, this is. So, was this like your deal reward?
Yeah.
Oh, man, yeah. Sweet.
It was like. It was actually like a pretty interesting decision to buy it. Do you mind if I just pop this right here, if you don't mind? Because I was sort of like, car, it's not a reasonable thing to buy.
It's not very kid friendly.
It's not kid friendly.
You can put a car seat back there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like nominally has 4 seats, right?
Yeah.
and yes, there are car seats made for this vehicle. Wow. Yeah. But I have to say, this thing just gives me so much pleasure. And I think it's sort of a reminder of like, life is short, do what's fun.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to like be totally reasonable. So I'm very happy that I did this, but yeah.
Definitely a nice gift to yourself.
I have some thoughts of more cars, but so far they've been kept at bay.
Yeah, when you start developing, getting a fleet of cars, then it's a little different.
I mean, certain like red Italian cars have been appealing to me, but I haven't really I like this. I drive it once a week. If I had like more cars, I would have to drive each of them once a week. This is enough.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, so merger. So, and by the way, at the point that you're can you give me a rough sense of like some of the numbers, like what revenue are you doing, maybe some margins, like what's the valuation of the merger, like whatever you're comfortable sharing, of course.
I'd have to look. I mean, we were in the, tens of millions of revenue.
Yeah.
And the firm we merged with was, significantly more scale. I mean, probably I think the combined entity was maybe 10 times the size.
Oh, wow.
I guess the thing was it was more about kind of beyond the revenue, getting the insurance chops. So being seen as having more industry expertise, more knowledge, it's really hard for a startup to kind of like pull that out of a hat.
Yeah. You're touching on something which, so I had a monoline insurance business, tech-enabled insurance business that I sold. And I would say like the core problem we had, I would say, was that as a brokerage, it was really hard to differentiate our product. We tried a million things. Like we had a software platform, and like agents, our clients would have like their Fair Square portal. Yet like it never really mattered for acquisition.
Yeah.
For us in Medicare, and I was kind of like, when you look at like WTW, Marsh McClellan, the biggest players in the space. They have been around for 50 to 100 years, and in large part grow through like acquisition. And the question is like, why? And I think at a high level, like you can grow revenue really quickly if you have a differentiated product. But my conclusion was like the brokerage is fundamentally not differentiated because the guy down the street can have the same products.
Yep.
And I guess if you have tech and you have more EBITDA margin, then you can take that money and like funnel it into more acquisition and maybe build a more efficient acquisition funnel. But I don't think we saw the efficiencies to make that acquisition funnel work.
Yeah.
To what degree did you observe something like? Is there anything similar in your world?
Yeah, there are definitely the similar shape problems. I think it gets at for what you're talking about. You also have the challenge of the really big established players have great brands, and so when someone Googles it, those brand names are coming up first, and you can't build that brand equity, or it's very expensive. I think for us it was, by building this technology platform, that's how we give clients this differentiated experience, right? They're getting something that they can't get elsewhere in terms of it feeling more integrated, feeling like, I don't have to log into 10 different systems and I never hear back from the person.
Yep.
Also, it's amazing how there's some products where it's like I'm trying to think of a good example. I guess maybe something like Uber.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, before I just had no way to get from point A to point B, or I'd like have to find a taxi.
Yeah.
But now I can hit a button on my phone and someone comes to me.
Yeah.
Like it's just this amazing, like I have the superpower now.
Yeah.
The nature of our product isn't like that. It's more like it's death by 1,000 paper cuts, where I have, every interaction with my broker has some crappy rough edge. And so it's a matter of like, how do we look at every one of those things and polish it, right? Make it less of a rough edge.
Yep. Can I ask a kind of tough question?
Sure.
So you had like a valuation of $2 billion in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Was that post merger?
Post merger, yeah.
So that's something.
That was our Series D.
So that's something on like revenue of like, how do the multiples work in your space? Were you getting like multiples on revenue or multiples on EBITDA? Like, how much of a software world was it?
I mean, the venture investors would look at us as kind of this weird mix of the two. Right? The funny thing is, if you look at the large brokerage platforms, some of them kind of trade like software because they have sticky, high margin, recurring revenue.
Mm-hmm. What would be some examples?
Of the type of revenue or the
large brokerage platforms that have that software-ish multiple.
It's a lot of like private equity backed brokerage platforms, and valuations also. I mean, for both software and insurance have changed a lot recently in public markets.
Yeah.
I guess looping back on, the Series D.
Yeah.
At that scale, we were turning into more of being judged on our financial performance, right? Like what's profitability? How is it growing? How does it compare to the scaled platforms?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's like a $2 billion round, and that's a kind of high watermark. And your WTW acquisition's done at 1.
Mm-hmm.
Was that like challenging, or how did you decide to take that acquisition? Help me understand that.
Yeah, it definitely. In some ways, you can say, it's challenging that it, wasn't more than that last round.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a huge premium and value though to liquidity, right? Like having money today.
Yep.
And even our investors were all extremely supportive of seeing, hey, like the business is in a great spot. We've gone through an amazing transformation. The multiple we got was if you can look up the WTW investor presentation.
Yeah.
And it's them making a big bet on how technology is going to change this industry and kind of what the long-term opportunity is.
Yeah. It's really smart. Like they're what, the biggest brokerage in the country, yeah? Or in the world?
They're in the top few.
Yeah.
Varies by geography.
It is very like pressing of them to take you guys, and now you and Spike are like the heads of AI.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That is. I feel like many brokerages their size don't actually understand the importance of AI, and also, or maybe understand it on an intellectual level, but tactically don't understand that it almost like there's no way to do it without bringing in AI experts, and they seem to get that. That's smart.
Yeah, I think that they're perfectly set up. We can talk more about it. What were we going to say?
No, go for it.
Oh, I was just going to bring up that insurance brokerage is, we have 53,000 knowledge workers that are doing a ton of, processing PDFs, emailing things around, filling out forms. There's a ton of opportunity to give people lift and let them actually focus on helping clients and not, paperwork.
Yeah. What would you advise a founder, like, in terms of like valuation maxing, as the Gen Z would tell them, or whatever Gen is the younger one now? Would you have done the 2021 round at $2 billion again, and like would it have been easier if maybe you didn't seek to max valuation? Like, is there any kind of general guidance there you can offer?
It depends on the kind of company you're building.
Mm-hmm.
Something that we learned along the way is you have to build a real business.
Mm-hmm.
And I think early on we were more, we were in Silicon Valley. It's all about just grow.
Yeah.
Who are you hiring? Those sorts of things. And I think we had kind of these pivotal moments, whether it was going through COVID, going through the merger, eventually getting acquired, where you're like, no, you need to kind of find a real business, and you're measured off of profitability.
Why though? Because there are plenty of people who just run software businesses.
Sure. I mean, I think you can always point to examples of, and I'm sure a lot of companies that get bought or have great outcomes without really finding that.
Oh, I see. You're like, if you want to support a real valuation, you need a real business.
Yeah,
I get
right.
it. Yeah, correct.
And I think a lot of companies would do well to kind of, figure that out earlier on.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm saying all that to say I don't really worry too much about valuation. I would think more about what kind of company you're building, and are you going to be focused on like profitability metrics from earlier on.
Yeah. Yeah. So you must you, for example, know what a DCF is.
Yeah, you got it. It's all about those cash flows.
Yeah. What percent of VCs know what a DCF is?
I don't know. I think they probably know about it, but then
Yeah.
maybe suspend reality sometimes.
Yeah.
Probably depends on the investor too.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Man, what a cool story. So what happens now at WTW?
Do we want to go back, or where are we heading next?
We're going to go through Sausalito.
Oh, cool. Okay, nice.
What do you think?
Yeah.
You want to go back? You want to take another loop?
No. I don't know what time it is.
It's 11:52.
You know the drill. You got it.
I want to give you a little margin, right? So I'm not dropping you off like exactly on the dot, right?
No. Yeah, that's cool.
But we can do another loop if you want to do down the hill.
No. Let's
Okay,
whatever
all
you're
right,
planning on. Yeah.
So
When did you learn to drive manual?
I grew up. My parents are from the Soviet Union, so they never probably, didn't believe in automatics.
Wow.
Highly recommend it. Is this piquing your interest at all?
I mean, I think it would be interesting to learn that skill just because I know it from like video games.
Manual transmission and video
Yeah.
games?
You ever been to like an arcade where there's, like a simulator of driving manual?
Interesting. With a clutch?
Yeah.
No. I actually haven't been to many video arcades.
It's been a while, but
Yeah.
it's like, oh man, that would be pretty fun. Maybe go to a track sometime.
I think it's pretty, you just really feel the machine.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things, the way you engage the clutch is different every time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a true like feel component to that, which is fun. And it's like like I have 2 Teslas and they're really convenient.
Yeah.
But they're basically golf carts. Like this is a car. After driving this for the first time, I realized I'd never driven a real car. This is a real car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. You have a whole skill. It's like speaking another language.
State Farm, insured by State Farm.
Nice.
But I guess I could have called you guys at Newfront, right?
Sure.
We
yeah,
were happy
yeah.
customers of Newfront.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it. Call us at WTW.
Yeah. So what happens at WDW? Is it like, are you having fun? Like, what are some of the challenges? And the opportunity is massive.
Yeah.
Like WDW, if they actually use AI to like improve their P&L, could just go and buy everybody else. Is that kind of the plan, or?
That's an option. I
Yeah.
think I just see it it impacts really every part of the business. And so far it's been really fun. I mean, it's kind of it's an interesting prioritization problem of just everywhere you look there's something you could work on, and so how do you focus?
Yeah.
And I think we're just living in this really interesting time where, I mean, in Silicon Valley, we're in this bubble. Like, it's all happening.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about AGI and
Yeah.
super intelligence, and like it is really, really cool.
Yeah.
But then you go to real companies and they're like, I've heard of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I used Perplexity once.
Yeah.
And so how this stuff actually diffuses into a real business, actually gets adopted, how people are measuring ROI, it's really fascinating.
Yeah, I have actually, because like I'm at like the number 9 largest brokerage right now, and it is kind of amazing how much of a bubble we live in.
Where's this wrong way? Where that guy's turning, go there.
Got it. Do you think I saw this like in Bookface, which is like the YC internal thing. There's like some company which was like, oh my god, we made a totally autonomous agent. I forget. Did you see this? It was like in the last month.
I've seen a few companies claiming this. Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I don't know. I think
like, does it need to get a license? Like, I think it does, right?
Yeah. Well, the insurance around all of this stuff, like, and what happens if it makes a mistake or recommends the wrong thing?
Yeah.
Is really fascinating. But on the first point, I think it's going to depend a ton on who is the customer. Like, what are they buying?
Yeah.
I think for your basic kind of personal lines, like your auto policy or homeowner's policy, it's going to be. It makes a ton of sense that you want it totally automated, just like you're buying anything else online. For the kinds of big enterprise customers that we deal with, these are the Fortune 100, where they operate in every country around the world. They are hiring a global advisor.
Yeah.
It's such a different purchase.
Yeah.
And so, I'm rooting for the startups, but I think that they're solving, some part of the market, but not the whole.
What do you think about LLM insurance?
Yeah, I think there's a ton of stuff that needs to be built there. I'm an investor in this company called AIUC, the AI underwriting company, and they're essentially trying to create almost like a standard of how do you ensure that your AI systems are reliable and have good governance and are working the way that you expect. There's a ton of stuff that people can be tackling around insuring LLMs.
How would you? It's almost like because like, how do you build the actuarial tables for an LLM? It's like model specific, so it's almost like you take a specific model and then you run it through a bajillion scenarios. Now you have your actuarial tables. Now you can insure it at a very high level. I
mean, that's the hard problem. Is like, how do you? There's just, because these are non-deterministic systems, there's tons of unknowns, and even with, let's say you had a very comprehensive set of evals where you said, hey, I think that these are all the potential risky behaviors that the model could exhibit, and you test against them. Well, it could just be passing, your set of tests, and you created 100 tests, but the 101st one, there is an issue.
It's like, now that you say it, it seems a lot easier to underwrite human behavior at scale than it is like an LLM, because it's like we don't really understand them that well.
Yeah, and there's people will figure out how to bend and break them in different ways, and you see that with a lot of the. Have you seen the chart of all of the security vulnerabilities that have been detected since Mythos launched?
Yeah.
It's just an absolute hockey stick right now. People, even though
Did that chart come from Anthropic?
I forget who. I think it was a company that kind of maintains like a list of SEVs.
Yeah.
But people are figuring out how to like basically bend and break these systems, use them in ways they're not supposed to be used.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to test for that and insure against it.
Yeah, I'd be scared to start that company. That's like quite I feel like you need to be ready to lose a lot of money and learn from it.
I think there's going to be a lot of claims, and frankly, just a lot more risk in the world. Right? I think that there's going to be more of a need for insurance, because every system that we interact with, whether it's the water supply, the power grid, has these new vulnerabilities, new ways it can be attacked, and that means more risk.
Well, that's actually, let's talk about those markets, because like some markets will probably shrink, like car insurance, more autonomous vehicles, like safer, not as not as much risk. Is that fair?
I don't know how it all shakes out, because let's say that more. I agree. The trend of more people in more autonomous vehicles, but maybe there will be many more miles driven, and these just because it's autonomous and with passenger cars it's safer, there still are all sorts of risks when the car makes a mistake or gets into an accident. It's not like the risk goes away.
Sure.
Yeah.
Then you have obviously like probably cyber insurance grows because yep, there's more AIs that can find all the holes. Insurance for LLM is going to be like AI performance is going to be an enormous category.
Yep. But think about something like the water supply. There are all sorts of industrial systems that have some amount of software control that potentially could be hacked in different ways. When you get into now there could be robots that are going out and doing different things.
Oh my God!
Mistakes.
My humanoid robot broke my hand.
Yep.
So that's quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It seems easier to underwrite a humanoid robot than an LLM. Like more deterministic.
Maybe that's true. I'd have to think about it a little bit more. I think there's probably certain systems where it only rotates in a certain way and it breaks under these conditions, but you don't know how these things are going to be out in the real world.
But there's also something like a LLM gone wild could wire $1 billion to the wrong person, whereas like a humanoid in my kitchen could ruin my kitchen and injure me. Different types of
doesn't it still have a non-deterministic system, so it could leave your kitchen and go to the ATM and have it, here's Dan's credit, here's Dan's debit card, I saw him type in his PIN.
Oh my God, you're so right. You're so right.
I'm here for it. I'm excited to try the robot.
I mean, there's this amazing feature of humans, which is local scope. Mm-hmm. Humans are well buffered. What am I trying to say? The impact of any human is limited.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you have a humanoid or LLM, they can have the same consciousness everywhere. And yeah, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, and they don't get tired. They're willing to just relentlessly. I mean, they just spit out tokens until they stop.
So one of the things I've been reading a lot of scientific papers, and you know that scene in The Matrix, which is I know Kung Fu. I'm trying to build that.
Oh, cool.
And so I have this harness which takes a scientific paper, and Fable will dissect the paper and into its key components, and then create diagrams and visualizations. And I have spent $1,133 on this.
Okay.
After a week, and thank God it's not my money. It's $5K of Anthropic credits I got a year ago.
Uh-huh.
Are you guys thinking about token costs at WTW? Are you starting to allocate requests to different models by difficulty? How do you think about this?
Yeah, it comes up in lots of conversations because as people use this stuff more and more, you have the exponential of just there's new models, there's new capabilities, there's ways to do swarms of agents and explode those token costs. I think there's a couple of different thoughts here. One is for the same level of intelligence, the models are getting way cheaper year over year, and at least for the past few years. And so if we can ride that curve, that's generally a good curve to be riding. I also think there's lots of tasks where you don't need the Fable level intelligence, right? When we build a system that fills out a certain type of form, an accord form, that is a proof of insurance or something like that, you kind of just get something working with a more basic model, and it's good. It's not like you need to constantly be upgrading that to the latest and greatest.
What's that paradox? Jurvetson's someone that basically the more computing power we have, we're just going to use it.
That's right. It starts with a J. I'm blanking on the right, but it's
or something like that. There's some J paradox.
Yeah, that as the stuff gets cheaper, the usage explodes, and we definitely see that. I mean, once you get hooked, you can't stop.
So I was at a talk yesterday, and there's some. It was like a researcher who's working on like local models, and his take was basically like in 6 months you can have something as good as Opus running on your MacBook, your MacBook M6 or whatever, and in a year you'll have something as good as Fable. And it's like, is that bearish or bullish? Bearish being like, okay, well, all the inference goes to local instead of cloud, and bullish would just be something like the J paradox.
Yeah.
I think that like there really are tasks that are simple that don't require the frontier models. In the same way that like I think a kind of like analog here is like you don't need the smartest human in every job.
Yep.
Like you don't need a genius running a Hertz rental car. So I'm personally like I can actually see a lot of inference going local. Especially like Fable. Have you played with Fable?
Oh yeah, it's my daily driver.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. It works for everything.
I think that the thing I see Fable do that past like Opus didn't do is it like QAs really well. Like I think it has a headless browser. It spins up like reviewing agents to like look at the work. So before Opus would be like, I'm done, it's ready, and then I would look at it and be like, no, this is broken. This doesn't happen anymore. Have you noticed anything similar?
I definitely. I don't know if it's more Fable than really what happened with. I think it was Opus 4.6, whatever came out last fall.
Yeah.
Feeling like we were much more willing to delegate work to LLMs.
Yeah.
The exciting thing so far is that even though certain tasks, you don't need the frontier level intelligence, there's still, it pushes you to be more creative and do more, right? You still want to use whatever is the most cutting edge thing to, hey, audit everything we're doing and identify, are there ways we can save costs, or the ways we can make it more efficient? I think that we will become more and more imaginative about how to use this stuff.
Yeah. Do you find it as fun as writing code by hand?
The work feels a lot different.
Like what do you do while you're waiting for Fable to return?
Have you heard of this? There's this term called bot. I think it's called bot sitting, where you just like watch what it's doing and watch the thinking traces. Yeah. I try. Ideally, well, it depends on the type of work, but ideally you're finding ways where you can load things up in parallel. Like if you're working on a coding task, can you first take some work to sort of break it down into different steps, different components, spin up several different threads, have each one create a plan, and then you can go in and review those plans. Those plans are going to create more sort of sub-steps, sub-components. What it all leads to for me, and what I hear from our engineering team, is like you're exhausted at the end of the day. It's really fun, but it's like a sugar high. You have that fun, and then at the end of the day, you're like, I can't even think. I can't string two words together.
I want to build something which is like I basically split my screen. On the left is Claude, and on the right is just like some compilation of like basically like a reader, like a blog reader.
Yeah. do you think? Well, it kind of gets into like what is deep focused work, and I think if you're constantly maybe you're reading stuff that's related to what you're working on. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, here's the thing I liked about it was more fun to write the code. So when I was using like Opus 4.6 and it was like I'm ready, and then I debug it and there are a billion bugs, I'm like I actually don't know if this is making me any faster. I wish I did it myself, and I would be forced to understand the problem. It's actually easier to understand a problem if you're forced to formulate a solution than it is to review somebody else's solution. that's just like the way I think the human brain works.
Yeah, because you've grappled with it, you've kind of broken it down already.
Exactly.
I believe that.
But now, truly Fable makes me far more like it's a 10xer on my productivity. Like the explainer that I can build with Fable is just a lot better than if I were doing it by hand.
What are some of those, when you say, I know Kung Fu, what
Yeah.
are some of those papers, the things you're reading or learning
So,
using Fable?
so like I have an investment in a company that uses solar thermal propulsion to move satellites, and basically, the gist is, historically, the way satellites have moved is it's through combustion, and so there's certain types of fuels that can combust, and they have. I can get into the details later, but like explaining this is one of the papers. Another paper. A couple of other papers are all on on AI, like optimizing world models or measuring intelligence by energy per intelligence created. Let's see. But what I have found is that, at least for me, the space stuff, the physics stuff is a lot easier to understand than the computer stuff. And that's probably just me. But I have also like not really nailed it. Like I have found you can't, like if you're like Fable, explain this like paper to me. I still haven't. I'm $1,300 of tokens in, and I'm still not really happy with the result.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard problem. I think the potential is that these LLMs are really good at personalizing the response to you. So, if it has a bunch of context about who you are, stuff you've already learned about, then it'll kind of push you in the right way and vice versa.
We'll drive a little further if that's okay. I was a little conservative on the time.
Yeah, sure. Is it annoying to drive like around normal streets like this because you're not able to, like the shifting and stuff is more frustrating?
It's like a little more annoying, but it's not like, it's fine. Like stop and go traffic is actually annoying. But here it's like we're in Mill Valley and can't really complain. It was actually pretty interesting. So I did this like YC paper club, and so I put these papers in the explainer, and it's like comparing what the AI explainer came out with versus like what the humans who wrote the papers, like what they put in their slides to describe the paper.
Yeah.
It's like very clear, like it's a very clear illustration that these models don't think that clearly.
Yeah.
Right? Because like a good litmus test is like, can you take a really complicated concept, figure out its primitives, explain the primitives, and like conduct basically operations on these primitives to get back to this complicated concept, and it can like, it can't really do it.
Yeah.
It's like very clear that a human would be better.
Right. It's really easy for the models to latch onto some small detail and blow it out of proportion. I often find them bumping into those sorts of weird parts of working with LLMs.
Are you like spending most of your time managing, writing code? Like, what are your days like?
It's pretty different these days. I mean, a lot of it is how do we... WCW is this massive company that has lots of experts around the world, and how do you kind of plug into what they're doing and create a more AI native workforce? I think that's the biggest competitive advantage we can build is, if we can get our colleagues kind of thinking about how can I leverage these tools, how can I use it to give clients a different experience, use it to, delegate certain tasks so that I can focus on, the higher value things. That becomes this muscle that you're kind of, as the models are getting better, you're always improving.
Are you finding, like, organizationally there is resistance to using AI?
I kind of was definitely worried about that, of people feeling kind of, hey, I don't trust these things, I'm kind of stuck in my ways.
Yeah.
But I found that there's a very collaborative energy, and people recognize that this is happening, and it's a question of how do we ride this wave and use it to empower our people and make us more effective.
Do you have a favorite insurance startup right now?
A favorite insurance startup? I mean, maybe I'm sure I'm talking my own book and maybe a little jaded, but I actually think the larger scaled platforms have some real advantages right now. Sure, you could say, oh, they're not going to move as quickly. There's more sort of institutional baggage, but they figured out all of the regulatory and compliance stuff in every country around the world. Hundreds of years of these relationships, this expertise, tons of proprietary data. So that's obviously what I'm focused on 24/7.
How far until an insurance brokerage says, hey, we have a new AI sales agent and we're just going to have it talk to the DOI's AI license examiner to see if it's good enough?
I'm sure you'll see all sorts of things like that. Big question marks around how does the government respond? How do these regulatory bodies deal with this stuff? We'll see. It's going to be exciting.
Well, thank you for joining so you should know this is the 6th episode, but this is episode number 5 because this is a zero-indexed car show.
Nice. Good stuff.
But this was a really fantastic romp into the world of insurance. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan. Good chatting.